When a product proves exceptionally successful, like Rolex's 39mm Oyster Perpetual, it's natural to want to hold on to it. Yet, surprisingly, Rolex decided to discontinue it. Let's explore the reasons behind this unexpected decision. The Oyster Perpetual. Rolex's 39mm Oyster Perpetual is hailed on the brand's own domain as the epitome of the oyster in its purest form. Eschewing complexities like a date function or a turning bezel, it embodies the core of Rolex's success. In the 20th century, its water-resistant case revolutionized watchmaking, with Rolex ingeniously combining a simple rubber gasket and precise screw thread to create a watch remarkably impervious to water. This feat was particularly impressive in the late 1920s, when the concept of a water-resistant watch was virtually unheard of. Rolex defied convention by deliberately subjecting its oyster to water, a bold move that showcased its exceptional durability. Legend has it that in the early 1930s, a staggering 74% of oyster watches were submerged underwater, some remaining unfound to this day. If any watch embodies the essence of Rolex, it's the oyster, prioritizing ruggedness over superfluous features like the self-changing date. For someone like Mercedes Glitz, navigating the icy waters of the English Channel, the functionality of her watch mattered more than intricate complications. She needed assurance that her watch could withstand the elements and keep accurate time amidst the chaos. While some may prefer a manual winder, Rolex recognizes that many buyers prioritize convenience over complexity, which is why the Oyster Perpetual remains a staple in their lineup. However, suggestions like doing away with the perpetual aspect to make it a manual winder might not align with the preferences of the broader Rolex clientele, highlighting the importance of understanding the brand's ethos and customer base. The Oyster Perpetual, in its purest form, offers a dial with minimal text, a refreshing departure from the verbose descriptions found on some recent Rolex models. Adding to its allure, it was available in a coveted 39mm size, widely regarded as the ideal dimension for a watch. It's not merely a matter of measurement, but a sensation that resonates deep within. Wearing a 39mm watch feels just right, akin to experiencing soul-stirring music or beholding an expansive sky that evokes a profound connection to the world below. It's a size that strikes the perfect balance. The decision by Rolex to discontinue the 39mm option and replace it with either 36 or 41mm leaves enthusiasts feeling disconcerted. The Oyster Perpetual, once the epitome of purity, now feels somewhat mismatched at 41mm, akin to a superfluous mustache on a donkey. While the larger size may seem plausible in theory, it introduces a sense of uncertainty and skepticism. After all, donkeys have thrived for ages without facial hair adornments, and adding one now feels like frivolity. Is it the watch that's the issue? Let's take a closer look at Rolex's decision to increase the size of the Oyster Perpetual to 41mm, a move that may seem surprising at first glance, but upon further reflection, reveals a sensible rationale. Rolex, known for its practicality and keen understanding of market trends, isn't making this change arbitrarily. In fact, they've observed a growing demand for larger watch sizes across various models, including the Sea Dweller, Explorer, and Submariner. Now, you might wonder why Rolex would risk tampering with the success of their iconic timepieces, but the truth is, customer preferences evolve over time, and larger watch sizes have become increasingly popular among enthusiasts. The previous 39mm case size, while beloved by some, was deemed too small by others, a sentiment that Rolex couldn't ignore. Of course, it's easy for us to speculate from the sidelines without bearing any real responsibility for the outcome. We can debate the pros and cons of Rolex's decision without facing any repercussions if we're proven wrong. But for Rolex, the stakes are much higher. If a decision like this doesn't resonate with their customers, it could mean unhappy shareholders and a dent in their reputation. As for personal opinions on the matter, well, they matter little to Rolex, especially if you're like me and don't own any Oyster Perpetuals. It's understandable that you might seek better value elsewhere, but that's a personal choice. And while it may hinder your chances of becoming the CEO of Rolex, along with the fact that none of us are actually in charge of Rolex, it doesn't diminish the significance of your perspective. In the end, Rolex must navigate the ever-changing landscape of consumer preferences while balancing tradition and innovation. And While they may occasionally stumble, remember the Sea Dweller 4000 mishap, they've built a reputation for resilience and adaptability, a quality that ensures their continued success in the dynamic world of horology. It's all too easy to jump to conclusions and assume that changes like this are big mistakes, especially when we're basing our opinions on our own limited experiences and hearsay from friends like John at the club. Sure, John might swear by the 39mm Oyster Perpetual, claiming it fits him, his son, and even his dog perfectly. And yes, human anecdotes can tug at our heartstrings more than a pile of statistical data on consumer buying habits, but the truth is, we're only seeing a small piece of the puzzle. In reality, we don't have all the facts. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors at Rolex, or the insights they've gleaned from extensive market research. Instead of blindly speculating and wringing our hands over hypothetical scenarios, perhaps we should trust that Rolex has a firm grasp on what they're doing. When a brand as esteemed as Rolex decides to make a change, it's likely based on careful consideration and a deep understanding of their consumer base. They have access to resources and information that we can only dream of, so it's fair to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, while we may scratch our heads and wonder why Rolex opted for a 41mm Oyster Perpetual over a 39mm one, let's remember that they're experts in their field. And until proven otherwise, let's trust that they're making decisions with the best interests of their customers in mind. Rolex understands the sentiments of those who wished the old 39mm model was slightly larger, as well as those who preferred it but didn't necessarily purchase new Rolexes. Similar debates arose when Porsche introduced the Cayenne SUV, with some enthusiasts questioning the brand's integrity. Yet, the success of models like the Cayenne enabled Porsche to innovate further, such as with the 911 and the 919 Evo. Perhaps the 41mm Oyster Perpetual served as Rolex's staple, allowing it to explore more adventurous creations like the Deep Sea Challenger. If you were anticipating a detailed review of the watch itself, my apologies. The new model is essentially like its predecessor, but marginally larger, featuring the upgraded 3230 movement. For me, this watch symbolizes a contemplation of my own desires within the watch market and where I stand amidst its evolving landscape. However, my opinion is irrelevant. Rather than dictating your choice, my role is to provide an impartial experience so you can form your own judgment. Ultimately, the decision is straightforward. Either you purchase one or you don't. What will it be for you? Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it enjoyable or informative, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Additionally, if there are any specific watches you'd like us to feature in future videos, please feel free to share your suggestions in the comments below. Your feedback is invaluable to us, and we look forward to bringing you more exciting watch-related content. See you soon.